Hello, this video is titled Marxism, a political doctrine from hell and hellish vapors. Well, let's get into the mind of Karl Marx. This photograph does not appear that threatening, but his ideas sure were. And where did those ideas originate? Well, Mark Skosin, an author and an expert on communism, said this: Marx's fixation with self-destructive behavior was prevalent through most of his life. A pact with the devil is a central theme in the poem Olanum, and the play reveals a number of violent and eccentric characters. Just like his character, Marx shows in his writings a desire to not only destroy himself, but to destroy humankind along with him. Well, we're going to take a look at several of his writings, including poems, to get into the mind of Marx and understand what influenced him and how his theory of Marxism taps into these thoughts. Let's begin with a poem, Invocation of One in Despair. In this early poem, Marx wrote about his will to create a new system. He states this: "So God has snatched me from my all, nothing but revenge is left to me." To exact this revenge, Marx states in the poem that he will build his throne high and overhead. Of this throne he writes, "Cold, tremendous shall its summit be, for its bulwark superstitious dread, for its marshal blackest agony, who looks on it with a healthy eye shall turn back, struck deathly pale and dumb. Clutched by blind and chill mortality, may his happiness prepare its tomb." Marx had many similar writings, many of which suggest his goal in using communism was never to help humanity, but instead to enact a sort of vengeance against heaven. The poem The Player and the Fiddler has this verse: "The hellish vapors rise and fill the brain till I go mad, and my heart is utterly changed. See this sword, the Prince of Darkness sold it to me. For me he beats the time and gives the signs. Ever more boldly I play the dance of death." Hellish vapors. The hellish vapors rise and fill the brain. Well, others have noted this. In fact, one blogger said this: "On this Halloween, I'm calling attention to Karl Marx's edgy, satanic poetry." So this is not just some observation for somebody that has a faith background. Anyone with eyes to see can see this. Well, in another poem, The Pale Maiden, he says in essence that his soul is chosen for hell. "Thus heaven I've forfeited, I know it full well. My soul once true to God is chosen for hell." The poem Pale Maiden. Again, returning to this poem, Olanum, "The world is in ruins." In fact, the name itself is said to mock Emmanuel, the name of God. But the poem says this: "Ruined, ruined, my time has clean run out. The clock has stopped, the pygmy house has crumbled. Soon I shall embrace eternity to my breast, and soon I shall howl gigantic curses at mankind. If there is a something which devours, I'll leap within it, though I bring the world to ruins. The world which bulks between me and the abyss, I will smash to pieces with my enduring curses." So Marx had a vendetta against heaven. He had a vendetta against God's created order. He hated it. So returning to the poem, The Player and Hellish Vapors, we can read this final analysis. An analysis of the poem from biographer Robert Paine said this: "Marx is here celebrating a satanic mystery, for the player is clearly Lucifer or a Faustian devil. And what he is playing with such frenzy is the music which accompanies the end of the world." Marx clearly enjoyed the horrors he depicted, and we shall find him enjoying in very much the same way the destruction of whole classes in the Communist Manifesto. He was a man with a peculiar faculty for relishing disaster. There can be very little doubt that those interminable stories were autobiographical. Marx had the devil's view of the world and the devil's malignity. Sometimes he seemed to know that he was accomplishing the works of evil. So surmised author Robert Paine. However bizarre Marx's early writings were, his stated claims and goals were not far from the reality of what he created, a system that in a single century took an unprecedented number of lives. Estimates vary, but according to combined research from historians Alexander Solzhenitsyn, Young Chang, and John Halliday, and numbers collected by the Black Book of Communism, the number is closer to 150 to 200 million deaths in just a century. You see, some people just want to watch the world burn. To watch the world burn. Our duty must be to struggle against the hellish vapors of Marxism, not to breathe them in. We must battle against and expose the powers of darkness that continue to pervade this modern world. The scriptures tell us, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." Ephesians 6. Marxism, a political doctrine from hell, hellish vapors. My name's Craig Seibert. Thanks for listening.